explaining to you how crucial the variables are in understanding the big picture of the curriculum. The thrust of our session for this afternoon will talk about how we put together everything in the context of learners with exceptionalities inside our classroom. Realize that in order for needs to be real, it has to be felt, it has to be observed. So therefore, needs are critical in the development and design of the curriculum. Now, when we talk about curriculum for exceptional children, we know that the center of the curriculum, how it is crafted, will focus on the child with learning needs. Okay? So this child with learning needs will manifest limitations in different domains of function that would require special attention with reference to the input, the process, and the output of the curriculum. So it is vital that we are able to identify what these needs are. But the curriculum is not as simple as the teacher dealing with the learner. There are other stakeholders that must be considered in the process. You know very well that in order for the curriculum to be implemented well, we need to understand that the family is also a major stakeholder. So we talk about parents or whoever the guardian is or whoever is involved directly with the child's education. They play a critical role in terms of addressing the needs as well. Because even if we have the student with us for a certain schedule, you know that the continuity of the curriculum, in order for it to be generalized, should be apparent or manifested in other settings. And number one setting there would be at home, other than the fact that it also has to be generalized at the community level. Now, talking about generalization at the community level, we talk about the people in the community. So we talk of school as a community. So we have here the teachers as stakeholders. When you say stakeholders, we refer to people who invest in such endeavor, who give their part, and who are main players in order to achieve success in the outcomes. So teachers play a very important part here. And when we talk of teachers for exceptional children, if we say the special education program is run, so we have the SPED teachers and we also have the regular teachers. And in this context, if it is an inclusive education, we have what we call receiving teachers. Other than the teachers who are also stakeholders in the curriculum and instruction, we also have the important people who operate the setting where the curriculum and instruction is delivered. So you have here the school administrators. So here you already have the school as a setting in the community that also gives their part, invests their efforts and energy to make outcomes successful. So we call these people stakeholders. Now, the curriculum and instruction needs to be generalized in a certain manner that we see quality of life to be achieved by the children with special learning needs. And this can be realized through productivity. And productivity can be, productivity is relative depending on the extent of limitation of the child. So this productivity can be home productivity, can be productivity through independence, learning, life skills. It can also be productivity through employment. So we do have the industry as well as a stakeholder, where the possible employers are. So here you see that there are different people who give their part to make the endeavor successful. They also invest in the process. And given that they all have needs that must be addressed in order for the child with learning needs to become successful. So if you say, okay, I own a Jollibee franchise. I hope, no, but I don't. So I own a Jollibee franchise and I wanted to hire persons with disabilities. 20% of them, 20% of my people should have disabilities. Now, given my thrust to hire, I will express my needs, diba? I wanted the learners with special needs to be able to count, to be able to do housekeeping chores, to be able to arrange the table, etc. So this particular employer is manifesting the need that must be met. The same is true for school administrators and teachers. They would say, okay, we operate on a vision mission, we operate on a philosophy, and this is the kind of students that we wanted to have serving the community. So this is what we will hone our students to become. So there is a need there that must be addressed. The same thing is true for the family. You know? So we wanted our child to be able to do things for himself. We wanted my child to be able to get employed and earn a living, etc. So there's a need expressed there. The same thing is true for the child. There are needs expressed by the child, whether the child is conscious or not conscious about it. It will manifest given the extent of limitations the child has. So in this context, this needs becomes the target. The needs becomes the basis for the targets, because the target aims to address the needs. So it is important that a particular target is aimed at, and that particular target is relevant and responsive to whatever need is being manifested by the stakeholders with reference to the quality of life of the child with special learning needs. Now, this target now will be the basis for the development of what you call objectives. Because we all know that we need to have a particular outcome. In order for us to achieve these outcomes, we need to develop the set of objectives that would respond to this outcome. And this outcome, or the target per se, addresses the need. So you look at the cycle here and the manner by which these variables relate to each other. So if you have objectives, then you know that you will need to establish the content, the teaching areas that must be established in order for you to answer the objectives, in order for the objectives to hit the target. So in this process, you would be able to know whether the target is achieved by means of evaluation. Evaluation of what? evaluation of output, which coincides with the target. But the point is, what will you evaluate? Diba? What will you evaluate? You would need now to establish the pedagogy that you will use in order for you to deliver your content. And this is what you call the actual strategies or methods that you will use in order for you to reach that particular target that you are aiming for. Here, you see already the major elements that defines what curriculum is. So, critical to this would be the identification of the elements. So you have the input element, the process element, and the output element of the curriculum. And this now entails the entire dynamics of what you call curriculum and instruction. So curriculum is the driving force by which schools are able to answer the needs of stakeholders in the community, whether it is at the home or societal level, by addressing those needs through set targets. These set targets are then translated into objectives, objectives into content, content delivered through specific strategies or methods that would then be evaluated, to check whether the target is achieved. So you see here the interplay of the variables. One, we need to understand these elements, because if we do know what the interplay is, then we would be able to devise or design a relevant curriculum, a curriculum that responds to the needs of the society, a curriculum that would address the limitations posted by individuals with learning needs. So all we wanted to happen here is that we achieve success in achieving the target that is designed to optimize the quality of life of learners with special needs. Now, the question is, are there other variables that you would have to consider? Yes, what are the other variables? Of course, everything is contextualized by understanding the learning environment. Because no matter how beautifully crafted the content is, or the strategies are, or the evaluation methods are, if the environment is not conducive enough to promote successful teaching and learning outcomes, it will fail. Now, in the context of that, you also have to consider the element of time. You cannot just haphazardly deliver curriculum and instruction without factoring what would be the proper time frame to it. Also, you also have to consider your resources. So all of these are critical to make it work. That's the reason why these elements needs to be deconstructed in order for us to make a good curriculum.